Hello, Booktail. This is Alan of the Lonely Bookshelf. The 17th of July, 1942. The Battle of Stalingrad began. For the next 200 days and nights, two opposing armies, the Russian 62nd and the German 6th Army, would battle over a 30-mile stretch, going from house to house. It is said that the average lifespan of a Russian soldier during the Battle of Stalingrad was 24 hours. At the end of the day, 2nd of February in 1943, the battle ended with over 2 million casualties, 1 million on the Soviet side. It cost 200,000 tanks, 200,000 aircrafts, and 40,000 civilians, including children, were killed. I'll read you the portion from this book, Stalingrad, How the Red Army Triumphed by Michael Jones. On the 2nd February, the remaining German forces in the north of the city were surrounded. Zhukov arrived in person to supervise a massive voluntary bombardment of the position and a powerful symbolic act, helping lower and fire one of the Russian guns. The enemy surrounded at midday, an act of capitulation which marked the end of the battle of Stalingrad. One of the soldiers remarked, "Mershiko." The sudden silence was overwhelming. Some of our soldiers, habituated to the constant din of fighting, couldn't stand it. The only time there was silence during the battle was just before enemy attack. The men were shooting rifles, letting off grenades, just to relieve the tension. That afternoon, a mass of demoralized German prisoners were marched down to the Volga. March 11 witnessed the spectacle. We knew the enemy intended to hold a victory parade on the banks of the Volga when they captured the city. So great had their confidence been that typically quite detailed plans have been drawn up for this. So we decided to obligate them. We lined them up in proper military order, and a large group of our soldiers gathered to watch. For a moment, there was absolute silence. Alexander reported. There were thousands of Germans out on the ice. And only about 10 Russian soldiers supervising them. Well, could not believe that such a formidable fighting force had been reduced to this ragged band. They scarcely looked human, meaning the disheveled German remnants were given the order of march as the defeated army began to move, stumbling and slipping on the ice. There were a few cheers and whispers. Then, as Mark Slavin recalled, all of our soldiers began to sing. We sang the Russian songs, which helped us sustain us when all seemed hopeless. I took out my notebook. I was attending to write a short piece for our divisional newspaper. but I could not describe the scene before me. Instead, I find myself writing words again and again. Glorious. Stalingrad is free. Miguel Warsaw wrote an anthology called The Image of the Remembrance, titled Mist Over the Volga. I'm standing on the steep bank, mist hangs over the Volga like a thick smoke, and through the smoke the dark green and blue river is looking at me. My native land has been kind to me, but it's the beginning of the road that I remember. Here now, fervent and alive, the soldiers' fires are smoking, and even the mist becomes smoke. Once I had that smoke soaked right through me, and I was full with it for the rest of my life. And here I am standing on this fragile bank, standing as if I was curved in time, through the mist, the green and blue river, looking at me. In 2016, there was a compilation of the children's stories, memories of the time they were in Stalingrad during the battle. It is called Living Memories of the Heart. Excuse me. I will read you one such letter. This is by a young girl by the name of Ludmila Lapsk. You don't need to tell me about the war in Stalingrad. Just buried me in my childhood, burned my home and everything inside to ashes. When we ran away from the burning yard, houses burned on either side of us. People were running everywhere, in all directions. Most were killed by stray bullets and shells. We ran like across the sea of fire to another district, to relatives, while grief lashed out at us, enfeebled us. A horse fell blocking our path. The crowd behind us would not stop. My younger brother would not let go of my skirt. Next to him was my mother, with an infant in her hand, with tears in her eyes, fear for us. Our relatives hid us in the shelter for the night. By the morning, their district was bombed. Where to run? We knew not. We ran to where our house burned down. Its embers still glowing. Oh, not the dream of what came next. To the Volga to get water to drink, we had to go. Shoving corpses with what we had out of the way from the bank. Filling a bucket with water. Take the a narrow path through the mines. Your legs are shaking. A railway carriage with preserves is burning. I ran to grab them, take food to my family. Thus we managed to get by day by day. Look, our baby.